Hello.
Yeah, okay, Vasu. I'll start now.
Yeah, may start. I'll join.
Yeah, sure. Give me 1 minute. Let me log into
Yeah.
the server. So, can anyone say like what we discussed in the last session? Hello, am I audible? Bhargav or Bhargavi? Anything like what we discussed yesterday? Remember?
Yeah, we discussed like T codes and creating clients in SAP.
Good. That's fine. So yesterday session we discussed about the client creation. How do we create a local client copy, and what are the options we have while creating the client local client copy. So those inputs we have checked and we have learned about it. But today I will give some more additional inputs on the uh, client creation, and we'll move on to the user creation today. So let me share my screen. Once you're able to view my screen, kindly confirm.
Yes, we can able to.
Okay. Fine. So okay. So what happened, like yesterday we saw the client creation, that is local client copy. So how do we done the local client copy using SEC for transaction code? We went and checked the client overview. From there, we create a basic inputs of the new client creation. Then we go to SECL transaction code for client local copy. This is a local client copy. What is a remote client copy? Remote client copy generally we don't do with the transaction code SCCL. We use the transaction SCC9 for remote client copy. Remote client copy is something like you are not creating a client in a local system, which means you are creating a same kind of client in the other different system, from here to different system. That is happen with the help of a remote function called RFC connections. With the help of RFC connections, we can create a remote client copy from here to another system. For that, the transaction we use is SCC9. And client deletion. If you want to delete any client, we should use the transaction code SCC5. With the help of SCC5 transaction code, we will delete the client. And there is two more things like client import and client export. What is client import? What is client export? For example, uh, you have a development environment with client 100, and you need the same client in quality environment, the another system. In this case, you can import in the quality environment the same client. and with the same data. That is client import. The client export is something like exporting from here to the another system. It also like a same process. And the last one is SCC1. That is local transport. Local transport is something like you have a one server, you will have 2-3 different clients in it. For example, 100, 200, 300. You have done in some customization in the 100 client. You want that same customization in 200 client. In this case, you can transport your changes using the transaction code SCC1. Guys, is it clear? Any questions here? If you don't have a questions, then I will ask questions to you. So do anyone remember like what client we created yesterday?
555.
555, good. So give me a moment, let me log into that. We'll check. As you said, we have created the client 555. So is it visible somewhere? Yes, this is our client, correct? So yesterday we also explored these options like change and transport client specific objects, cross client objects, and client copy and comparison, then CAT ECAT restrictions. Okay, so here my question is, we created this client here. I can select and I have an option to delete here only. For example, I'm going in the change mode. Right now I'm in a display mode. I go and select my client. If I want to delete, I have an option to delete here. But why SAP is recommended to go SCC5 to delete the client? This might be an interview question also. So wherever I say interview question, kindly write it down. Don't hesitate. You understand? We created the client here and we have an option to delete here. We have an option to copy here. We have an option to create new client here. Even though we have an option to delete here, why SAP is recommending to give a transaction code to delete through SCC5? Any guess? Guess would be fine. Like even you all are new to the system, but some guesses also okay. If it is a wrong guesses also, I'm happy. Others also joined, Vasu? Not ready to take any guesses? Maybe Naresh or Sudhakar?
No idea, I think.
Good. This is also right answer only. So Sudhakar, you want to try something? Some other answer? Same answer? No idea? Sudhakar promised like he will not talk in this group. Okay. Fine. No worries. So the option they given here delete. Yes, they given delete, you can delete it. But this will only delete the entry what you see here. For example, sorry. The entry what I am trying to say is whatever the input you inserted here, only this information would be deleted. But the data what you saved in the table, that will not be deleted if you delete in this place. Only this information would be deleted, which means in this screen you will not see that 555 client. But the data what we have copied, we went and run. For example, if we run all the copies, the customized data, whatever you have copied for this specific client, that data will not be deleted from the table database. So to delete that data from the database in a table, what we have to do? We have to use the transaction code SCC5. So this SCC5, if you go with the transaction code and delete client, then what happen? It will not remove the entry from here in this SCC4, and also the remove the entire complete data from the database. Okay, that is one input I would like to give. I have given. Apart from that, okay, something we are talking about, these entries we are filling, we are saving, we are doing something. Where these inputs are saved? In database. In how it will save in the database? Through tables. Tables contains columns and rows. Okay, so these inputs are saved in a database. How it's saved? With the help of table. The table has rows and columns. So this specific input what we have updated here, that will be saved in a table called T000. Kindly note it down. The client data, client informations are stored in a table called T000. So these informations we already discussed. So see, this is the input. So T000 table in SAP stores a list of systems clients. It is not only one, a list of systems. How many clients you create for this environment, everything, all the informations will be stored where? In T000 client. T000 table. T000 table in SAP stores a list of the systems clients along with their basic configuration details. What are the basic configuration details? Like client name, which city it belongs to, which currency, what are the standard currency they use. All this fundamental informations are stored in that T000 table. Okay. Fine. So that's all about that client creation process. So as I said initially, to log into any system, we need three important things. Fourth one is not mandatory. What are the three important things? Anyone? To log into SAP system, three important things we required. What are they?
Client code, user ID, and password.
Perfect. Client number, user ID, and password. Logon language is not mandatory. Okay, so we have already learned about this client. Now we are going to discuss about the user, how we are going to create a user to log into the system. Okay, fine. So to create user in SAP system, see how for creating a client, we have these many transaction codes. You see here, you have these many transaction codes. Likewise, to create user, also you have a transaction code. The transaction code is SU01. Kindly note it down. For user creation in SAP system, we use transaction SU01. I'll show you. SU01. S for Singapore, U for umbrella, 01. You please make sure if you change a little bit also, instead of SU01, if you type SU01 also, you will not get the result. So I type SU01 in the command prompt and I just click enter. Now I see the screen. This screen tells about user maintenance, which means we can either maintain a user or we can create a user. We can modify the user. All user related inputs we can do in the screen. Guys, you able to follow me?
Yes, K.
Cool. Okay. So now I am going to create a user. So what user we will create? So we'll create NDR user. Okay. So I try NDR USCR user. Just I will also add a numeric 01. Okay. NDR user 01. Okay. So here you have several buttons. This I will explain you. This tick button you already know. This is equal to the enter keyboard. And this is to create a new user. If you want to create any new user, first you have to give the username and click on create. What user you're going to create, you have to give the username and click on create. And this is the change. So already existing user, if you want to do any modifications, you use this change button. And the third button is a display. It is just a display. Most of the users in production environment, apart from security GRC team, they will have only display option. They cannot use use the change mode or delete or anything. They cannot do anything. They only do a display in the production environment, especially. And this one, if you want to delete any users, you input the value of the user and you can click on this button, this trash button. So it's for deletion. If you want to copy the same same kind of access or same kind of information from one user to another user, we can use this copy option. With the help of this copy option, you can create another user, like copy user, same access, same inputs, everything would be copied. Only the address data will not be copied like the same. Why? Because address data is something, I'll tell you, it is more on like our personal inputs. So if I want to create an NDR user one and I have to copy this access to Vasu. So Vasu name, first name and last name, and the Vasu details would be different. So that's why we should only the address data we have to manually input. And this is the button you see, it is for locking and unlocking the user. If you want to lock or unlock any user, you have to use this button. So in which scenario we lock and unlock the user, I will explain you. So this is to reset your password, means you change your password. If you feel like you want to change your password, you will use this button. So this is to cancel. It's very simple. So first step, we try to create a user. So I given a name NDR user 01 and click on create. Okay, before I go, I want to display this user, not change. When I try to display this user, what it is saying. This is the status bar where you can see all the inputs or result. Whatever you ask, the system will give the result here. It is successful or it is not, it is exist or not exist. So it is already saying like that NDR user does not exist, which means once we create this user, we can display this user and check. Or if we want to modify, we can use this change button. Okay, let me create this user. First is create. Here you have several tabs. We go one by one. Okay. The first tab related to the documentation, the name only indicating like it is just a information purpose, documentation purpose. For example, you can create this, you have to give the description for this. Description in the sense like why this user is created. Maybe I'll see, I'll give a short description for TESTING, testing. So testing purpose, I'm going to create this user. And a person responsible. If any specific person is responsible for this, we can include them. Include them in the sense, we are going to create one user. That user doesn't have any name. I just simply mention NDR user. I not mention the name of Bhargav, or I not mention Bhargavi, Naresh, or Sudhakar, Basu, anyone. If someone comes and see, what is this NDR user, what it means, how do they understand? So the person, the owner of this user, they will have that information here. For example, if I give Vasu's name, then they will understand like, okay, this user is created for Vasu. He is responsible for it. For example, if I click on the radio button here and I click on the search, so I see number of users already available in this system. So we will take admin, like we are the responsible, right? So admin 001 I keep. This is the, he is the person who is responsible for this testing, to create this test user ID for testing purpose. And here you have a change button to give the documentation of the user. So here you can give the purpose, like you can give the complete information, like today's date, for example, 28/10/2025. So today's date, sorry, 2025, and give one space, and who is the user is created. Who is creating this user? Maybe I am the person creating. Maybe what is the purpose? Testing purpose. And generally, if you're creating any user, you have a ticket number. So you can give that ticket number. Maybe we'll just keep the ticket number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So this will clearly indicate like who created this, for what purpose he created. Okay. And through who asked him to create. With the help of, if we check this ticket number, it will have all the inputs. Like, okay, when he created so and so date, who created this guy, for what purpose, testing purpose. Do he have any ticket number for it? Simply if someone comes and asks you in the desk, hey, can you create one user for me? You cannot do it. You should ask him, you create a ticket for me, so I will check whether it is properly approved, then I will create a user. If we start creating a user without any tickets, so we will not have any control on it. The users list would be exceeded, and especially in production environment, generally apart from us, no one will have access to create any users or roles. Okay, so I'll click on continue. Okay, you have the input here in the document. Just you are giving a documentation tab is specifically for a document purpose only. So once it is done, we are going to the second tab called address. What is address? Address is something here. I said, like, if you are copying any user from one user to another user, it will copy all the inputs, but not this address data, which means this address data is completely depend on the individual. For example, if I want to fill the inputs, see a title, it should be Mr. or Mrs. If something we can choose, but these fields are not mandatory. But the SAP have made, while creating a user, please write it down. Two important things are mandatory while creating a users. Without these two important things, you cannot create user at all. You can skip all the inputs, like you can skip the documentation, you can skip some other information in these all tabs. But without this two inputs, you cannot create a user at all in SAP system. The first one is in address tab, last name. Without, you see the asterisk sign here, without the last name, you cannot create any user in SU via SU01 in SAP system. Kindly note it down. That is one. Another one I'll tell you. So here, NDR user, we'll just fill like, yeah, Mr. NDR user 1. This is a title. The second one is a last name. Obviously, I said it is very mandatory. Without this, we cannot create. So I type this as a user 01. And here I will give as a first name as NDR is a first name. And academic title, if in case the person is a graduate or a postgraduate or a professor or a doctor, doctorate, whatever it is. So those inputs we can give here. So these inputs are not mandatory. Only the last name is mandatory in the specific to this tab. Okay. Apart from that, if any specific language the user want to, for example, generally if you don't keep anything, you see EN as a primary language. If you keep any specific language like Chinese or something, whenever the user login, he will see the Chinese language, not the normal English language. Okay, that is, but these fields are not mandatory at all. Just I'm explaining you. The first part is a person. The person details are this. Once we complete this person details, next we will go, see here you see full name, but once we save the data, the full name will be populated here automatically. We cannot do or edit anything here. Okay, so we have only options to edit the title, the last name, first name, academic title, and the language. Once we save this inputs, we can see the full name. So now the first step is we completed the person. Next, we are going on the work center. What is work center? This is specifically related to this specific user, where he located in the organization. He belongs to which function? For example, he belongs to a finance team. Finance team, something like that. Which department in finance? Maybe accountant. Accountant. He belongs to a finance function, and department is an accountant department. And which room number, floor number, building number. Some organization, they have that in specific, this tower, this room number, this floor, this building number. So all inputs we can give, but these are all not mandatory. SAP have provided the options to you. Very, very, very few companies, they maintain all the data. Most of the companies, like I can say 95 to 96% of the company, they don't give this complete inputs like work center. Only that 5% of the organization they maintain. That to how they maintain, it won't be like this way, like maybe they will maintain everything in the HR systems. Through HR systems, if they push this, probably we will get all the informations here. So again, the last one is communication. So communication, if we talk about the telephone number, is mobile number, or if we have generally, if you are working in an organization, the user will have the telephone number and extension and a mobile number. For example, like just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this is a mobile number we can give. If any telephone number, we can give extension of that, any fax number and email ID. So mostly these are all not mandatory, but still I prefer to always give some email address to the user. Why? Because if in case in future, if someone want to contact the specific user, they're not given any phone number or any contact detail. At least if they have an official email ID, they can contact them with this email ID. For example, I'll give this NDR USCR user 01 at okay test.com. Just one example, but generally if you are in officially, you are in an organization, you will have an official email ID. So that official email ID maintenance is good actually. So which help the other user to contact you. For example, if this user is created, I should come, for example, I created a Sudhakar's user ID. How do I communicate to Sudhakar? Using that email address. So in future, if I do any modification on this in his account also, if we have this email address, we can communicate through this email address. Okay. And again, if you go an email after, if you see that once you put that email address, you have a methods. Methods, it goes along. It's an email address or fax, pager, printer, remote, many things are there. So probably we choose an email address. It's an email what we are given. So these are the first tab is documentation is clear for you. The second tab is address. It is completely divided into three parts. One is the person inputs, person details, and second one, the work center, where he located, and third one, how to communicate to this user, the communication information. And that's all. And finally, the company name. The company name, it would automatically populate it. Why? Because that particular company, the server belongs to a particular company. So automatically this will populate here, the company information. So we don't want to do anything here. Guys, you are clear with this? Any questions here?
No.
Okay, thanks. So the next tab we are going here is log on data. So log on data, it is one of the important tab. Here you see alias. Alias is nothing but this is the user NDR user 01. Sometime we can give some short name for this. For example, if you see in your wedding cards, something they will say like how they will mention like we will have two different names in our home. Like generally the one name we usually called officially we will given that one name, and generally if we go home they will call in a different name. In wedding cards also, if you see, like they will mention so and so person, but his official name is this, something like that. Likewise, this alias is the kind of name like that. For ND user 01 is a user. For this user, we can keep any alias name also, so that in case if you want to fetch any information, we don't want to give ND user 01. Instead, we can directly, so see here you see there is two buttons. If you want to, if you are doing something, but if you want to again open one more sessions, you can click here, new GUI window. You see here that if you click here, the another session will open. Why I'm trying to tell this, like, okay, I'll show you. SU01. If I go here, here also you see alias. For example, if I don't know this name, I can find this user using this alias name also. If I give this alias name, for example, if I give something, admin as a alias name there. So next time when I come, I forget the NDR user 01, but directly I give admin, then automatically it will open the input. Okay. So that is the purpose of the alias name. And this is one of the important thing is in this logon tab is user type, user types. So what kind of user we are going to create? So we have an option here, dialog user, system user, communications data user, reference user, and service user. We have 5 different types of users. What are they? We will discuss. So do you have a pen and pencil? You would like to write it down? Surely in interview they will ask. Or else I'll do one thing. I already have this inputs. So you can see my screen. Slowly you start writing it quickly. I'll also explain you what is it. We have totally 5 user types like dialogue, system, communication, service, and reference. So what we say, I'll go one by one. Once you complete, you tell me. For example, dialogue user. What is the purpose of dialogue user? This dialogue user represent human user who log on to the SAP system interactively through a graphical user interface, which means a dialogue user is a user like we are the dialogue user. We able to log into a SAP system. How we logged into the SAP system using SAP GUI? I already showed you. With the help of SAP GUI, we are trying to connect the server which is located in some other part of the world, like maybe in US or UK or Canada, anything, whatever it is. So with the help of the SAP GUI, we, a human user, we are connecting to the server, SAP server. That is a dialogue user. And this dialogue user log on with SAP GUI is possible. It is already, we know this. With the help of SAP GUI only, we able to log in as a dialogue user. And expired or initial passwords are checked, which means whenever you log in to the system for the first time, it will prompt you to change your password, initial password. Whenever, if I am an administrator, I created a user. After I creating a user, I communicate to one of you, like Naresh. So Naresh, when he tried to log in with the same, he will input the client number, username, and password. It will prompt you for the new password, which means he has to change his password. That is initial password. And expired means they will have a password policy every 90 days or every 60 days. It will expire and it will ask you to change your password. That is possible in the dialogue user. And users have options of changing their own passwords. Dialogue user have the options to change their own passwords. Suddenly I feel my password someone have seen from my workplace. I doubt he able to log in using my ID. If I suspect, immediately I have options to go and change my own password from X123 to Y123, something like that. And multiple logon is possible. So multiple logon is, as I shown you before. I was working in one screen, then I have clicked on the icon in the right top corner. There you see one more session I've opened. Likewise, we can open almost 5 to 6 sessions. It depends. There is a settings that would be managed by the Basis team. The Basis team, they will manage that settings. How many sessions one person can open at a time. There is a parameter there we can restrict. So multiple logons also possible. What is the usage for individual human users, also for internet users? This will be useful for the individual human users and the internet users. Okay, the next we are going to see about system user. System user is system dependent and a system internal operations. The system user is completely dependent on the system and it is only useful for the system internal operations, nothing else. A dialog users cannot utilize this one. Only the system related internal operations can be done. So in this case, log on with SAP GUI is not possible because it is not a human user. It is a system himself, the system itself only will use this user type. So that it cannot be login with the using the GUI option. So login with SAP GUI is not possible. And this one of the important thing is in dialog user, they themselves can change their password. But here, only an administrator user can change the password, which means only the administrator is a basis guys. Only they have the option to change the password. No one else can go and change the system password, system type user password. And multiple logon is permitted. So the same way how that the dialog user be able to log in multiple sessions, the same way here also multiple logon is permitted. It's allowed. The next, the usage is, it is specifically used for internal RFC, background job processing, and external RFC. The system user is specific to internal RFC. RFC is a remote function call, which means this remote function call, I'll tell you later. If I give more inputs, you would be confused. Remote function call is nothing but to communicate from one system to another system. This RFC would support, will help us. Remote function call. So internal RFC, background job processing, and external RFC. Okay, this is system user. So when we talk about the other one is communication user. What is the purpose of this communication user? This is a technical user type specifically for a dialogue-free system to system communication. It is just a dialogue free. We don't see any screens like a dialogue screens and all. It is directly connected to system communication only, and it does not allow for interactive logins via SAP GUI. It won't allow the interaction like SAP GUI. You cannot give any command using this communication user. So GUI logon is obviously not possible with this, and the users are allowed to change password. See, the communication user type can change the password, but it is not so easy like quickly you go and change like a dialog user. It has some software in the middle tier individual system. There is some process, like we cannot quickly go and change your password same like a dialog user. We have some software in the middle tier. With the help of that, we can change the password. And this usage of this communication is for external RFC specifically. System is internal RFC, background job processing, and external RFC. But communication type is specific to the external RFC only. Guys, clear? Anyone, any doubts? Bhargavi, Bhargav, Naresh, Sandhya, Sudhakar.
Means who will use this user IDs, like system user or communication user?
That I will come
For
one by one. Yeah. If I give more inputs now, probably whatever I give, you just take it. Maybe this questions, yeah, it's a good question, but I will answer you.
yeah, sure, no issues.
Because if I give more input, then you will go away from what we need to know. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, to be simply answer, the dialog user would be used by the end users. A system user, communication users are used by the basis administrator. As I said, this is purely related to the RFC. So RFC, whenever the RFC comes in picture, the basis team is the responsible. So the first one is for all, like end users and even the administrators, security administrator like us, we will use this dialog users. But system user, communication users, this two, we don't use it. It will be managed and handled by only we create for them, or sometimes even basis team during the implementation only they will create their own system users and communication users. So this two would be handled and managed by the basis administration team, not a security team. So the next one is like service user. Generally, this service user is, in this, if you create a service user type, GA login is possible. So with the help of GA login, we can log in using this service user. And this service user, even we can use wherever you see GA possible, we can use it. Wherever you see GA is not possible, that is purely for a basis team only, administrator only, for your simple understanding. I'm answered your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah. So the service user is the one, service user type is the one where the GA logon is possible. And this specific user, initial password and expiration of password are not checked, which means this user, after we create, it won't prompt you for the new password to change. And it won't also intimate you to change your password for every 60 days or 90 days. See, the first case here, we see the same kind of information, like expired or initial password are checked, which means dialog user, whenever a dialog user enters the initial password given by the administrator, it will prompt you to change your password. And whenever, if the organization policy is more than if 90 days it should expire, it will prompt you to change your password. But this will not happen for the service user. When we create a service user, GA logon is possible, but it won't prompt you to change your password. That is first point, initial password and the expiration. Like it won't expire at all. Like even 90 days, 100 days, 200 days also, it will not prompt you to change your password. It won't expire. And the next, multiple logons are allowed. The same way I see here, the service user, multiple logins are allowed. Users are not allowed to change the password. Here specifically, users cannot. Hello. Yes. Any doubts?
Sorry, KK, my mic is not working.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No.
sorry.
No. You have any questions, Sudhakar?
No, KK, I'm good.
Okay.
Please continue.
Cool. Yeah. So here multiple logons are allowed and users are not allowed to change the password. Here also in this service user type, users cannot allowed to change the password. Only admin can change the password. Then users are not allowed to change the password. The next question, who will change the password? Only admin have the ability to change the password. Okay. The usage of the service user is it is anonymous system access. Like we can use this for a public web service purpose and all. If we want to communicate or if we want to use any public web services, we can use the service user. And the same service user we can also use in GRC environment for Firefighter access, but that I will come later. If I give more inputs, you would be confused. That we'll see in the later part. And the last one is reference user. Reference user is a GUI logon is not possible. The same reference user, we cannot log in using GUI, and the initial password and expiration of the password is not checked, which means it will not check. And the reference user is assigned to a dialog user. This reference user we create, but how it works, only when you assign this reference to user to a dialog user, then only this reference user would work. I'll tell you a situation later in which situation we generally create this reference user and assign to a dialog user. Okay. So last one is one dialog user only have one reference user can be assigned. Here, generally this reference user, how it works, it will not work separately. It needs something like any dialog user to accompany this reference user. Then only it will work. Then, and also you might have a question like dialog user, in the sense one dialog user will have a several reference user. No, that is not possible. Only one dialog user should have a one reference user. The usage of this is primarily assigned to a dialog user for authorization enhancement. Simply, I will show you how we have to do this. Just remind me during our practical session. But to make you understand, for example, I have some authorizations in my login using my ID, but I need more authorizations. But my there is some restrictions. We cannot assign more than 312 profiles to any users. If the profiles exceeds more than 312, it won't allow you to add one more role or profiles. In this case, we create a separate user called reference user, and we will provide the additional access to that reference user, and that reference user we will assign to this dialog user, where that user need an additional authorization. So again, if I create a reference user, even that reference user will have an ability to carry another 312 profiles, right? So with that reference user, we will assign that reference user to this dialog user. So this dialog user will get the required additional authorizations. Okay, any confusions? You want to repeat this again, or you understood? Okay, silence.
Yeah, please repeat, KK.
Okay, good. So what I am saying, reference user is when this reference user will be created. If I am creating a reference user, which means I am going to assign this reference user to any dialog user. What is the need to assign this reference user to a dialog user? When dialog user exceeds his authorizations. For example, I can give only 312 authorizations to this dialog user, but I need 315 authorizations to be provided to this dialog user. In this case, I will assign 312 access to this dialog user, and remaining 313, 314, 315. That access I will create it in a separate user called reference user. With that reference user, I will assign that after I create this another 3 more profiles to that reference user, and this reference user would be assigned to this dialog user, so that end of the scenario, the dialog user will have all 315 profiles. Sudhakar.
Yeah, but why we are giving the three particularly to reference user separately?
Why? Because it won't allow more than 312 profiles to the user. SAP has a standard that will not allow more than 300 profiles to a user.
Okay.
If we have more than 312 profiles, again, there is a restriction in the SAP. So in this case, how you will assign another 3 more profiles to the user? In this case, you will create a reference user. You can assign that missing 3 profiles to the reference user, and that reference user can be assigned to this dialog user. So final result would be the dialog user will have all 315 profiles within him.
So maximum only we can create the 312 users.
312 profiles to one user.
One user, yeah.
The users can be several. It depends upon the license, how much you are getting with the SAP.
Okay.
Fine.
Oh, but so whatever may be the license, always the restriction is 312 only, right? On profiles?
Yes.
Okay.
312 only. Irrespective, it doesn't mean that the specific license oriented. Users depends upon the license oriented, but this profiles are 312 only. Irrespective, if you take a high budget license also, that profile is 312 only. Okay, we jump here in the SAP screen. You're able to see this SAP screen. Guys, the session will go a little long. Is it fine for you, or we need, if anyone have any problem, to stop, or we continue?
Yeah, okay, we can continue tomorrow because I have another appointment. So
all are okay for it? Or at least I can continue for another five more minutes, 5 to 5 minutes, so that I will complete this log on tab. Then remaining we will see it tomorrow.
Sure, please. Yeah.
And one more thing, guys, you all noted down, like this information you already write it down, right? In your
Yes.
Okay, cool, fine. I'll just take another 5 more minutes to complete this log on tab, and remaining tab details and other informations we will see tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, this is the alias. What I said, that alias is nothing but is a short name for this ND user 01. So we can, using this alias name, we can also connect or get the input of this ND user. And the user type we already discussed. This is 5 types of user: dialogue, system, communication, reference, and the service. This is compulsory interview questions. Please don't miss it. And this is called password. So whenever we create any user, we also input a password for that user, so that using that password, that user will log in. So this is one I told, 2 mandatory field. Without the 2 mandatory field, we cannot create a user. The one I said is last name of user, and the second mandatory field is password. Without you giving a password to a user, you cannot create this any user in SAP environment. So I'll provide a password here, like I keep welcome, W capital, welcome at 1 to 12. Same, we have to repeat password, welcome at 1 to. Okay, please remember this. Maybe tomorrow if I ask, you have to support. So this is the password. We have given the password. The next step, if you see, user group for authorization check. This is I will teach you in the next sessions, like how to create a user group. Generally, this user group helpful to grouping the users. For example, how I say, like maybe A, B, C. These 3 belongs to a finance department, and D, E, F. These 3 guys are belongs to a HR department. And likewise, like X, Y, Z, they belongs to a production department. So I want to group these users in a user group. So what is the purpose of grouping them? If I need any specific team data, for example, finance data I need, if I have this group, I can easily fetch only their information. Instead of fetching all the information, all the department information, I can easily fetch the information using this user groups. Okay, for that purpose, we use this user group. I will help you and I will teach you how to create this user group in this coming sessions. Okay, and one more important thing noted down, when we create during the implementation, after the implementation, SAP super user group would be defaultly available in the system. See, super, I said, right? This, no one have created the user group until now in the system, but super group would be default in all the systems. That is one of the interview question also. Okay, even though you create a group or you don't create a group, once you do complete your implementation, the super group would be defaultly available. But after that, we can create several groups like finance group, security group, basis group, production group, sales group, something like that we can create, and we can assign to specific user, so that whenever we try to find a sales team, then we will have the list of sales team users using this user group. Okay. And the next one is validity period. Validity period is nothing but this specific user, when he is created. For example, today I am creating this user, I should keep today's date. Okay, in case if I give 30 as a date, even though I provide a password and username to that user cannot be logged into the system. Only if I keep the what is the purpose of keeping the future date? See, sometime we would create this user in advance, but that user might join the organization only on Monday. Monday, I might be busy. I don't have a time to create. So what I can do, I can create this user today because I have a spare time today, but I can keep his valid from date as a Monday, so that no one can misuse, even though if we join Friday to our organization also, he cannot log into the system. Only from Monday onwards, he can use this SAP system. But generally, we give the current date only. Whenever we create, we give the current date. So today's date is 28. And again, valid too. Until how many days or years this user should have the access. For example, most of the organization, if they are a direct employee, they give unlimited. Unlimited in the sense they mark like 3112.9999, which means it will not expire. Okay. In case if any user you are creating, he is belong to a contractor. In that case, what happen? You will he is a contractor for 1 year. So in this case, what you will do? You will give as a 2026 from 28/10 to 25 to 26, 1 year contract. So after 1 year, his contract will expire. So that's the reason, like, we create him as access for 1 year. This is the one. This can be any time. It can be a 1 month or 1 year or 6 months. There is no restrictions here. And other data. This other data generally 90% of the organization they don't use, but still few finance companies, finance organizations, they use it. For every user, they will have an account number and a cost center. So those input would be given here. The account number would be AC 1234, something like that, and cost center would be always like something like this. It depends. So for this specific user, this is the account number and the cost center they maintain. 90% of the organization they don't do, but the banking sector or finance organizations, they prefer to maintain this data. Guys, you are okay with this today? You have a button called a save button, that floppy button you see, floppy type. This is a save button. Whatever we have done, we have to save first so that we won't miss it. So what is the input we are getting here? User is created. We have a multiple information to check. Maybe due to time constraint, we continue tomorrow. Is it fine for all?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. So until here, any doubts?
Can we get the recordings of yesterday's class and today's class, please?
Actually, I don't have any access for this recording. I don't know, like
So
the.
do we need to ask Vasu on this?
Might be. You check with Vasu.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. I don't have a control on this recordings. Fine, guys. We are good to close today. Or any questions you have? It's very silent. So if you understand everything, it will be the people will be silent. Or if you
You
don't
need to go
understand
through the
anything,
recordings, KK.
okay.
Yeah.
Fine. That's good. Fine, guys. We are closing for the day. Like tomorrow, same time we'll connect 9 o'clock. But I request not as quick as possible. Like at least 9 or 9:05 is fine, but don't prolong more. So that
Just
because
sorry.
many
Today I'm stuck in traffic actually.
no worries at all.
Yeah.
Try like even I have to try. That's all. Sometime even I cannot connect. Why? Because like at least I thought 45 minutes is not enough for me because I explain very clearly. I'm not like others, like simply just running out. I don't do that. Whatever I give the input, the opponent should at least understand 70 to 75% what I'm giving. So at least remaining 20-25% they can explore and learn. Okay, guys. Anyway, thank you all for your time. We'll connect tomorrow 9 o'clock.
Yeah, KK, one request. Tomorrow, start of the class, shall we discuss what the syllabus we are going to discuss and what is that whole thing we have to learn in SAP GRC?
Okay, you need a curriculum.
Right, exactly.
Okay, they have not sent you anything.
I didn't get anything.
Okay, I do one
We
thing.
didn't get anything regarding that agenda, something on that.
Okay. You want to know like every day what we are going to study, like course curriculum.
No. Course
Basically.
curriculum, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I will send it to you, or I'll send to Vasu. He will forward you.
Sure. And yeah, just job point of view, what is that we have to learn and all? So,
Everything I'll teach you. No worries, because you are in the initial stage. If I give all those additional stuffs now, probably you will be diverted. My humble request, whatever I am trying to give you, try to understand. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Even it is a simple questions or a childish question also, no problem. Even I will learn if you ask question. That's all. Every phase of our life we have to learn. No choice.
okay. Thank you.
No worries at all. So I am there. I will completely give my full support to you all, guys. I make sure like whatever input I give, you have to. And my humble request is try to take the server connection and start practicing. Practicing makes you perfect. If you don't practice, within 1 or 2 days, you will forget the screens. Just simply daily, once in a day, you just view the screens. You don't work also, no problem. If you don't do anything also in the screen, no, at least just log in and see the screens, or else you will forget your transaction codes. In interview point of view, if you just sit and think on the transaction codes, then it won't be good. Like it should be memorized. It should be in your fingertips. Okay,
Yes,
friends.
but we need how to take the server and all that. We need that help from you.
Is it something was in this call?
Yeah, is there
Maybe.
no call?
Okay, maybe you can contact the management, like because even I don't have a control on this. Maybe I will talk to Vasu today, or let him speak to them, or
Yeah, you speaking in this call also, and tomorrow also, no issue. We can get to know the how the procedure will be there.
Sure. I maybe not know. Maybe once I disconnect this call, I'll directly call him and I'll check with class.
Yeah. You can in tomorrow call also will be talking. So all will be get to know what the procedure and all.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. No issues. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. And I would like to be the session to be interactive so that everyone would be like, everyone want to participate. That is my humble request so that I feel happy, like at least you understood something. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day for everyone.
Thank you, KK. Same to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Ah.
Bye.